StreamYard.com/839. Salakia.
In the affiliate marketing space that are entrepreneurs.
Hey, whoever you are, man, you could come on this live, man, and we could talk about it. All right, whoever you are, let's talk about it.
Yeah, see, Hispanic, Latino, it's all the same thing, brother, right? But the title states, man, specifically, we're gonna go into the Mexicans today, right? Because I had a first and foremost, man, shalom to everybody tuning in. Shalom, shalom. My name is Nathan Yah. I'm with K.O.Y Dallas, right? We coming on here today just to edify, first and foremost, we'll give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi. And we're going to go into this in depth, like I was saying, as the title states, are the Latinos, Mexicans, are they Israelites, right? Specifically the Mexicans, right? I've been having a lot of my people, a lot of my brothers, man, who are Mexican, but they just them brothers, everybody want to fight tooth and nail without actually doing any research or looking into history or looking into their people prior to Columbus, right? Prior to the Aztec and Mayan empires, right? Prior to the Incas, right? So they all they want to do is yeah, if you want to jump in, let us know. I'll drop a link. I'll drop a link in the comments. You can click it and hop in, man, and we can discuss it, right? So the Latinos, Hispanic, these are all bywords, right? These are all names placed upon us. Regardless if you want to say Hispanic, regardless if you want to say Latino, Latin X, whatever you want to call it, we all know who the world talks about when they say these terms. It's not like they're talking about anybody different, right? They're talking about the Puerto Ricans, they're talking about the Mexicans, they're talking about the Dominicans, the Cubans. Anytime they use the terminology Hispanic or Latino, right? It's the same thing. So, like I said, we're gonna go into it a little more in depth today. Hey, Shalom Gabor, you want to go ahead and talk to the people real quick, King? I think your mic muted.
Connection is pretty bad. Is it do you hear any bad sounds? Is my audio okay?
No, your audio good, King. I can hear you.
Con. All right, so shalom, shalom. My camera is gonna be crap, right? But shalom, shalom, man, to all the Akwath and Akim out there, man. That's really truly serving the Most High, man, and all the Banyam, right? The children out there that's honoring their father and their mother, right, and serving the Most High to the best of their ability, right? Shalom to the family out there, and I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi, and Baraka Thumb to the family out there.
Give me 2 seconds out and calling his brother Tazi Thumb, see if he gonna hop on.
Con. So since Water Brother trying to check in with that brother, right? Let me bring out a quick precept, right quick.
Yeah, he did that, sir. Go ahead, King.
All right. Con. This is the book of Romans, chapter 8, and verse number 2. It says, this is the book of Romans, chapter 8, and verse number 2. For the law of the Spirit is of life. Salakia, for the law of the Spirit of life in Hamashiach Yahawashi had made me free from the law of sin and death. Right. So right now, what we're doing is we're trying to show our Gentile brothers and sisters, right, that the law of spirit, right, is what's going to bring you to life. And if you don't follow the law of spirit, right, you're going to be brought to the law of sin and death. Right. And then I'm going to go to Second Timothy's Salakia, chapter 2 and verse number 15. And it reads, study to show thyself approved unto Yahawah, a workman that needed not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. Right? So this is what the Lord tells us. He said we have to study to show ourselves approved unto him. Right? If we're not studying, then we're not approved. Right? If you think you fully studied in the scriptures, go to the Hebrew, right? Go to the Lashawan Kadash, right? If you feel like you fully studied in both of those, right, go into prophecy. If you studied in prophecy, go into something different, man. Right? Keep building yourself up in this thing, because the Lord tells us we have to study to show ourselves approved unto Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi, and all the Allahayim, right? All the angels that's up there with them, man. Right? And I yield. What Tazayathan say? He say, you know?
Nah, brother ain't answer, man. I tried to text him too,
All right,
call him, he ain't answer. So we're just gonna move on without him.
It's all right.
He'll tune in when he tune in. Yeah, I told that brother though, so they should be hopping in shortly, most high willing. Right. But yeah, like my brother was saying, man, hey, we gotta study to show ourselves approved, man. Hey, you know, we can never get comfortable in this thing, man. Never get comfortable thinking you know enough, or you know, hey man, I already know enough to get by. I already got a good understanding on the Torah, right? And I got a good understanding on the gospel, right? And I got a good understanding on Paul's writings. Hey man, don't get comfortable and think you know enough and you don't never gotta learn more. Man. It's always something more you can learn, always something more you can add to. Right, we don't, and part of that is, and that's love, right? Let me get this. We brought this out. Let me write this. Right, 33 and 17. All right, we don't do this just for ourselves. We don't do this to boast, man. We don't go and study like my brother brought out in 2 Timothy, right? Study to show thyself approved unto Yahawah, right? So we got to show ourselves. Not only are we trying to show ourselves approved unto Yahawah. Let me see how I change tabs. Share this tab instead. Okay, come on. Share this tab instead. Right. Not only are we trying to show ourselves approved to Yahawah, but we do this not only for ourselves, but for right here, right? Ecclesiasticus 33 and 17. Consider that I labor not for myself only, but for all them that seek learning. Right. So we don't just do this for ourselves, man. We do this for our brothers who may not have the time to go and look into it themselves. We do this for our brothers who are truly seeking, but just don't know how to really dig into the scriptures or how they're supposed to be reading the scriptures, right? How they supposed to get the understanding. They don't have the guiding tool yet, right? In order to discern the scriptures. So we have to study not only for ourselves, but we study for all y'all brothers too, right? We go into history and study these things so our people are not just lost out here and without an identity, without knowing their true culture, without knowing their heritage, without knowing who they truly are. And that's what we're getting into today, to show that the Mexican people are truly the biblical Israelites, right? And it's a shame, man, right? Because the main reason I'm doing this live is my brother Tazayathan, man. He had a post somewhere. He posted something, or some brothers was talking about the fight. I think it was that Ryan Garcia fight, right? And some brother was talking some mess or whatever, and Tazayathan commented like, "Hey man, it was a good fight. Them brothers is the same people, right? They come from the same people. Black and Mexicans is the same people." And another ignorant brother, right? Ignorant Issachar brother, talking about we not the same people. What the hell is you talking about? Right? All this hyping up, and so I hopped in the comments on them, right? Like, okay, well, let me edify you, brother, because we are the same people, right? And brothers get prideful and then try to act like they're not prideful. They both they boast up, right? Hey, pride boasteth up. And we gotta humble ourselves sometimes to understand that we don't always know it all. And some brothers might know more than us. All right, so let me get into we're gonna go right to second Esdras, right? Because like I was saying, the Mexicans 13 40 42 45.
Khan, I'll read it.
Come on, go ahead, King.
You want second Ezra chapter 13 and verse number 40?
Come on.
Second Ezra 13 and verse. number 40. It says, matter of fact, I'm gonna start at 32, and we'll drop down in a little bit. It says,
okay, go ahead. Bring it
and
back
the time. It says, and the time shall be when these things shall come to pass, and the signs shall happen which I showed to thee before. And then shall my son be declared, whom thou sawest as a man ascending. Right. So these things that we're about to go into up in verse 40 on down, these things had to happen right before the Son of Man that Ezra saw ascending happens. Right. So this has to happen. So I'm gonna drop down right to verse number 40, and it reads, those Salakia 39. And whereas thou sawest that he gathered another peaceable multitude unto him, right? So this group of people, right, and you can step in whenever, King. This group of people, right, is the 10 tribes that is about to go into. But go ahead, King, if you got something.
So it's going into end time prophecy, but in order to tell you what's happening in the end time, it's going back into history as well. It's like you ever watch a TV show, right? And you watching the TV show and it's leading up to some epic scene that's about to happen, but then like hold on, now we gotta run it back and show you what led up to this. Right? And we gotta run it back and show you the background of these people. That's what's going on here with Ezra, right? Ezra got this vision. The Lord showed him, hey, there's a great multitude there's a peaceable multitude also with them right here that's going to be coming. Hey, but this peaceable multitude, these are the lost tribes. That's who that peaceable multitude is. Right? Go ahead, King.
It's like that the recap situation. We're gonna do a recap. Like on Netflix, you know, they always have the damn recap. But I'm gonna keep going. It says those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Hosea the king, whom Shalmaneser the king of Assyria led away captive, and he carried them over the waters, and so came they unto another land.
Right. So if you know your history and you know what's going on in this time, right? The southern tribes went into the Babylonian captivity and the northern tribes went into the Assyrian captivity. So right now they're being taken captive by Shalmaneser, right? By the Assyrians. Go ahead, King.
You can actually look up that, and you can look up the dates of this, right? And this is an actual event that actually happened, right? And maybe you can look that up while I read a little bit. Look up the
let me look that up real quick.
It says verse 40 again. Those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoner out of their own land in the time of Hosea the king, whom Shalmaneser the king of Assyria led away captive, and he carried them over the waters. And so came they unto another land. But they took this counsel amongst them, saying, go forth unto a further country where never mankind dwelt.
Go ahead. You can go into that.
So
I'm trying to find this for you.
It's telling us, right, that the Israelites, the 10 tribes, are going to go into captivity under Shalmaneser, the king of Assyria, right? And while the brother going to pick up the artifacts or the, the different customs that we picked up, or the archaeology, right, that they have found that we were following these Assyrians, right, which Assyrians go back to the
Are you breaking up?
While I go into this a little bit, so it's telling us, right, that the Israelites, the 10 tribes. Huh?
You was breaking up right now. I didn't catch nothing you were saying.
You said I'm getting choppy?
Yeah, Con.
Khan Salaki, you can hear me better now?
Yeah, Khan, I got you now.
Khan. So I was saying, man, that you know, these 10 tribes, right? They got led away captive, going into Assyria. And I was letting them know that you about to go pick up some of the artifacts or the different proofs, right? That proves that these 10 tribes that came to America was those same 10 tribes that got led away captive into Assyria.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Khan.
So I was on verse number 41, right, where it says where never mankind dwelt, which means that mankind never lived on that land, like made a civilization, right?
Mm-hmm.
But go ahead, King.
Khan, yeah. So never mankind dwelt. So that means they got to this land and nobody was there, right? It's like you going out into the wilderness and you looking, you like, man, I got to find a piece of land where nothing's built up. It's just all forest and I haven't seen. There's nothing but animals and greenery, right? Hey, the same thing. We got to go find something that nobody has yet laid claim to. We're gonna find a land where we know nobody is existing in. There's only animals and wildlife and green, man. Like trees and plantations, right? And plants and things of that. Vegetation, Salakia, vegetation and things of that, right? That nature. Right, reading on.
Salaki, I was trying to share this right quick. But yeah, all right. So verse, you want me to read in here? Verse number 42, and it reads that they might there keep the statues which they never kept in their own land.
Right, so they had to flee and find a new land in order for them to keep their statutes that the Lord gave them, right? Their laws, their commandments, their judgments, right? They had to keep all these things that the Lord originally gave them because they wasn't keeping it in their own land. And if you're being oppressed by another people group, it's going to be that much harder for you to keep it, right? Just like today, man, right? You oppressed by America, and you so engulfed in the ways of America. Our people's mindsets is hard to come out of that way of living, right? It's difficult for them to come out of that way because they're so used to it, right? They're comfortable. What happens when you get comfortable, man? You stop doing what you're supposed to do because it's just like if you plan on going to the gym every day, but you get comfortable. What happens? You're gonna stop going because you're comfortable. Oh, I'm good. I'm on a good size. You stop going. What happens? Now you start losing all that muscle you was putting on. And you start building your spirit up. You got too comfortable. You're gonna start losing. You're gonna start your spirit gonna start getting weak, man. So they had to find a land that they can go to where they wouldn't be oppressed, so that way they can keep their customs, keep their laws and the statutes and the things that they're supposed to be doing. Right? And let me pull this up. Oh, go ahead, King. Go ahead.
Nah, I was gonna read it again. In verse 42, it says, and they in verse 42, that they might keep their statues which they have never kept in their own land. Mm-hmm. And they answered, we'll wait on that. You gonna get an article?
Yeah, I was gonna pull this Assyrian captivity article up real quick. Let me share this tab real quick, right?
Let's go into
so it says the Israelite diaspora, right? It says the Assyrian captivity, also called the Assyrian exile, right, is the history of ancient Israel and Judah during several thousands. Israelites from the kingdom of Israel were dispossessed and forcibly relocated, right? Just as it said that they got taken captive, right, by the Neo-Assyrian Empire. Oh, okay, and pulls it up.
So this is around the Salakia. This is around the exact same time that Judah, right, the southern kingdom got taken into the Neo-Babylonian captivity. right? So we seeing what's going down, and if we get Isaiah, it'll show you, right? It'll show you really quick. My bad, my phone about to die.
No, you good. Let me read this last part real quick
So
before I
it'll
get
show
Isaiah
you.
for you.
It
says, which
it'll
was
show you
overseen.
really, Salaki. It'll show you really quick, right? That we was led into the Assyrian captivity first, right? When we go into Isaiah, but go ahead.
So you see right here, it says, which was overseen by the Assyrian kings Tilgath-Pileser III and Shalmaneser V. Right, so King Shalmaneser right here, it's lining up. The history of it is lining up with the biblical account of what happened. Right. All right. What do you want me to grab out in Isaiah?
Don't grab it yet. Read all the way down to the year.
Oh, okay. Come on. Let me put it back up there. Right. It says 722 BC. Right. Was the king of the Neo-Assyrian Empire from the death of his father in 727 BC to his disposition and death in 722 BC.
So as you can see, man, we was in captivity under these Assyrians, right? These Grecians for about 20 something years, 21 years, right? But we probably left a little bit before that 20 years was up, right? And then we came into the land of we made our way through the Euphrates, right? That's the next portion of this text, right? That we made it through the narrow passage of the Euphrates.
Yeah. And then real quick, like you were saying, the Assyrian captivity came first, and then right here it all states Judah was left as the sole Israelite kingdom until the Babylonian siege of Jerusalem in 587 BC.
So
right?
200. Like less than 200 years later. And the reason why he did this is because Judah started following, right, Israel. So we could go into that right quick and then go back into Second Ezra, right? But let's go into Isaiah, right? Isaiah, hold on, let me make it there. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 2 and verse number 1.
Come on, let me share the screen.
And we're gonna read to verse 4, and then we're gonna go to Isaiah. Let's see, Salaki. Read that right quick.
It's Isaiah chapter 2 and verse 1. The word that Isaiah, the son of Amos, saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem. Verse 2. And it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of Yahawah's house shall be established in the top of the mountains, and shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow unto it.
So this is when we made it into the land, right? And it's also when we're gonna make it into the land again, where all nations will flow unto, right, the house of the Lord, which is Jerusalem, also the tabernacle that we have set up. Keep reading.
Verse 3. And many people shall go and say, come ye, and let us go up to the mountain of Yahawah, to the house of the God of Jacob, and he will teach us his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For out of Zion shall go forth the law, and the word of Yahawah from Jerusalem.
So we see what's happening, right? We're gonna lead the rest of the countries, right? This is in time prophecy, but it's also in the time of when we were ruling, right? We moved in this same manner, what we was teaching people the law, statutes, and commandments. And whether they follow them or not, right, that was totally on them. We could go to Leviticus, and I could prove it, right, that whoever was around us or sojourning in our land of the other families, other nations, they had to abide by our rules or we'll kill them. Right? Go ahead.
Verse 4. And he shall judge among the nations, and shall rebuke many people, and they shall beat their swords into plowshares, and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore.
So when we rule, right, and when we ruled, right, just like the Lord promised us up in Leviticus chapter 26, right, he said that 5 should put 100 to flight, and 100 shall put 10,000 to flight. He promised us that, and that was facts. That was true. But watch, the Lord took, since we didn't want to follow him the right way and the correct way, the Lord took his hands up off of us. Yahweh took his hands up off of us, and he let these nations come in and take us over. Right? Go to the book of Isaiah, chapter 37 and verse number 21. So we're giving y'all a backstory through the Bible of the prophecy that we was going to go in the captivity of the Assyrians.
You said verse 21? This Isaiah chapter 37, verse 21. Then Isaiah, the son of Amos, sent unto Hezekiah, saying, Thus saith Yahawah, God of Israel, whereas thou hast prayed to me against Sennacherib, king of Assyria.
Go ahead.
Keep reading. This is the word which Yahawah hath spoken concerning him. The virgin, the daughter of Zion, hath despised thee and laughed thee to scorn. Despised thee and laughed thee to scorn.
So this is why we had to go into the captivity of Assyria, man. Right? It's because we laughed Yahweh to scorn and despised him. Right? Read on.
The daughter of Jerusalem have shaken her head at thee. Whom hast thou reproached and blasphemed? And against whom hast thou exalted thy voice and lifted up thine eyes on high, even against the Holy One of Israel?
So now drop down to verse number 33, right? Because the Lord is explaining to us what exactly is about to happen before it happens, like he chapter 1 and verse number 21, I think, when he told Adam, eat from the tree of life, right? Because then shall they die, right? Same thing, right? With us, the children of Israel, he gives us a thing that we need to do, and if we don't do it, he judges us for it. But go ahead.
Isaiah 37 and 33. Therefore, thus saith Yahawah concerning the king of Assyria, he shall not come into this city, nor shoot an arrow there, nor come before it with shields, nor cast a bank against it. By the way that he came, by the same shall he return, and shall not come into the city, saith Yahawah.
So after they take us, right, and they conquer us, the Lord immediately is going to chop them down. It's going to make them give us back, or we're going to leave, like it's telling us in 2nd Ezra, from this captivity, right? Because the Lord, he wasn't going to keep us in this captivity forever, because he needed us to be in a far country called the land of the north, right? So he was going to save us out of this place. You got something, King?
Oh, no, I was just telling Mario, give me water. Con. You gonna go back to Second Esdras?
Go down to 37.
Con. Verse 37. So Sennacherib, king of Assyria, departed and went and returned and dwelt at Nineveh. And it came to pass as he was worshiping in the house of Nisroch his god, that Adremelech and Sharezer his sons smote him with the sword, and they escaped into the land of Armenia, and Esarhaddon his son reigned in his stead.
So it wasn't going to be long that we was dealing with this Assyrian captivity. You could go back to Second Ezra, right? But Isaiah, he already had prophesied that we was going to go into this land. We was going to go into the Assyrians' land and serve for a season, right, under the Assyrians. Shalom, that's Khalil. Shalom, Captain Khalil.
Shalom, King.
Oh, there we go.
Shalom, shalom. Call all y'all bahasham Yahawah.
Call all Yahawashi Yahawah. Watch this, right? In the book of, so we started in Isaiah chapter 2, right? Then we went to Isaiah chapter 37 to show that the Lord wasn't going to let these Assyrians rule over us forever, and they wasn't going to go unpunished. But let's get a little bit of the reason why and what happened to put the Assyrians over the 10 tribes of Israel. This is the book of Isaiah chapter 10 and verse number 5. O Assyrian, the rod of my anger. Why is he calling the Assyrian the rod of his anger? Because the Israelites, right, not Jerusalem or not Judah, but the 10 tribes, they had to get the punishment of the Lord through the Assyrians. And it says, O Assyrian, the rod of mine anger and the staff in their hand is mine indignation. I will send him against the hypocritical nation, talking about Israelites, right, and Israel. It says, and against the people of my wrath will I give him a charge to take the spoil and take the prey, right? So we're going to be a spoil, right, become robbed and become a prey to where they're going to kill us and eat up all of our goods. And to take the prey and to tread them down like the mire of the street. Howbeit, he meaneth not so, neither doeth his heart think so. But is it in his heart to destroy and cut off nations, not a few, right? So the Lord is telling us that this guy, man, that's ruling the Assyrians, the same dude that ended up getting killed by his sons, right? This dude, right, was going to take over the 10 tribes of Israel because the Lord was hot with us and he was going to allow him to take over for 21 years, right? This is what we read in the book of Isaiah. We could go back to Second Ezra now, King. I got it. I'm gonna read it. You go into it.
Okay,
and make sure you look up the Jewish Encyclopedia.
I already got it up.
I'm
about to get the Chronicles real quick too, just to touch on this real quick.
All praise. So this is the book of Second Ezra, chapter 13 and verse number 42. That they might there keep their statutes, which, Salakia, we might as well start at 40. Those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoner out of their own land in the time of Hosea the king, whom Salmanassar, the king of Assyria, right, led away captive. And he carried them over the waters, and so came they unto another land. But they took this counsel among themselves that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth unto a further country where never mankind dwelt, that they might there keep their statutes which they never kept in their own land. And
Right. So
they
this
entered.
so like we was stating, like we was going into right now, all through Isaiah, right? Just showing that we was gonna go into the Assyrian captivity, and we brought that article up showing the history of Salmanassar and the Assyrians, and when the time frame between the Assyrian and the Babylonian captivity. Right. Go ahead.
Verse 43, and they entered into the Euphrates by the narrow passage of the river. For the Most High then showed signs for them and held still the flood till they were passed over. For
Right. So
through
they
that
have.
country,
Go ahead.
for through that country was a great way to go, namely of a year and a half. And the same region is called Arsareth.
Right. So it took them a year and a half to go pass through the Euphrates, exit out to the river to hit the ocean, right? But it says that the Most High showed signs for them and held still the flood, right? So we could see in First Chronicles, let me share this tab, right? First Chronicles 12 and 32, right? It says, and the children of Issachar, which will be the so-called Mexicans today, which were men that had understanding of the times to know what Israel ought to do, right? So we had understanding of the times as a people. We knew how to read this, just like if you look at the Aztecs and the Mayans, right? They got the Aztec calendar, the Mayan calendar. These things came together because they was able to know when seasons was coming, when seasons was going, just by looking at the lunar cycle and the stars. Man. We were able to see signs, the signs that the Lord showed for us. We was able to read those signs and now we good. We can go. We can travel this way through the Euphrates. We good during this season to go ahead and take our leave, man. Right? We know not to go during certain seasons because the way the water is going to be going, rough, right? Rough waters. And then it says, for through that country there was a great way to go, namely a year and a half. The same region is called Arsareth. Right. This is out of the Jewish Encyclopedia. Let me share this tab. All right, it should be readable. Right. So this is the Jewish Encyclopedia. It says the name of the land beyond the great river, far away from the habitation of man, in which the 10 tribes of Israel will dwell, observing the laws of Moses until the times of restoration. According to 4th Ezra 13 and 45, Columbus identified America with this land, right? And then it gives you a source for Columbus identifying, right? It's in K. Serling's Christopher Columbus, right? It's translated by Dr. C. Gross on page 15, right? But he's saying that Columbus identified the Americas with the land of Arsareth, and that this would be the land, the Americas would be the land that the lost tribes would dwell until they were restored again, right? To restore something means it already had to have been something in order to return to that state of being, right? If I have a 62 Monte Carlo and it's run down and beat up, I have to restore it back to its original condition. Hey, the same thing with the lost tribes. They have to be restored back to their condition of rulership once again, right? They have to be restored as a people. They have to be restored back to their heritage and their culture. Because now we lost sight of these things and we stopped doing after these things, and we started following back after the ways of the heathen. We started going back to the customs of the same people who oppressed us. Right? Where do you think you get the worship of Quetzalcoatl, man? The serpent god. You get that from the Assyrians, right? And we went through the Assyrian captivity. The Assyrians was worshiping these gods. We come to the Americas to keep the laws of our God, and yet we go back to worshiping the same gods that our damn oppressors was worshiping through all these different captivities. Right, but we see Columbus identifying this place, the Arcerith, as the Americas. Right, and then let's go. You want to touch on it a little more?
Nah, you good. You cleared that up. That's it.
Okay, yeah, I got something else too, real quick. Right, let me share this tab right here. Boom. This is from the Lost Tribes and Promised Lands, right, by Ronald Saunders on page 187, 188. Right, it says, let's get all this. Friar Diego Duran came to see elements of a Judaic character in the old Aztec religion. At first, this tendency appears only as a fervent search for Jewish analogies provoked by Aztec customs, such as eating of unleavened bread on certain days of the year. What does that go back to? That goes back to the Feast of Unleavened Bread, where we can where certain times of the year we can't eat anything with leaven in it, so we have to eat unleavened bread for 7 days. And we see the same custom taking place with the Aztecs, where they eat unleavened bread on certain days of the year. And the use of baths for purification. So now we see that we wash ourselves regularly in order to purify ourselves. Where does that come from? Right, let's get that into law. Right, let me share this tab. Leviticus 15. Right, we see again.
Leviticus 12, Leviticus 15.
Yeah, I was gonna hit 15. Yeah, Leviticus 12. Yeah. All right, we start at the top. This is Leviticus 15 and 1. And Yahweh spake. Go ahead, King.
I'll read it. This is the book of Leviticus 15, chapter 15, verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, when any man hath the running issue of his flesh, because of his issue, he is unclean. And this shall be his uncleanness in his issue, whether his flesh run with his issue, or his flesh be stopped from his issue, it is his uncleanness. Every bed whereon he lieth, that had every bed whereon he lieth that have the issue is unclean, and everything whereon he sitteth shall be unclean. And whosoever toucheth his bed shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water, and be unclean until even.
So now we see that whatever becomes unclean, you have to wash it in water, including yourself. You have to bathe yourself in water, and you remain unclean until that night, right? Till the sun goes down. Then you would be considered clean, right? So we go back to the article, to the book, right? From the Lost Tribes in the Promised Land is saying that the use of baths and the use of baths for purification. So not only do we see them eating unleavened bread on certain days of the year, but we see them purifying themselves through bathing, the same way the Israelites had to purify themselves to cleanse themselves in bathing, right? And it reads on, it says, in time, this begins to seem to Duran like overwhelming evidence that the Indians are indeed descended from the lost tribes of Israel. And who are the Indians, man? Right? They're calling the Aztecs the Indians. Some brothers be like, the Mexicans is not Indian. The indigenous Mexicans, you're Indians. The Indians would be considered natives to the northern and southern Americas. So if you're native, if you're indigenous to the Americas, then you would be considered an Indian, right? And he opens his last and most important work the history of the Indies of New Spain, Mexico, certain fundamental legends can be explained, such as the one that Montezuma presented to Hernan Cortez. The departure of the great lord in antiquity now seems to Duran to be a memory of Moses. As for the object condition of the Indians, it can now be accounted for in the classic way. This is God's punishment once again wrought upon the Jewish people for their sins. So what happens, we see, so he's saying now we can see the reason that the indigenous, the Aztecs, the Mayans, the Indians, the Native Americans, right, the people native to this land, the reason these indigenous people are in the condition that they're in can only be accounted for that it's God's punishment against them because they're God's chosen people and they're sinning against their God, and so now the Lord has to punish them. Right, let's get that in what's that, in Judith, I believe. You know what I'm talking about? What chapter that is? Actually, that's Apocrypha, Salaki. Get that real quick. 5 and 18.
Salakia, King, you know I'm dealing with a family in this thing. But go ahead. My bad.
No, it's all good. Judith 5 and 18, right? It says, but when they departed from the way which he appointed them, they were destroyed in many battles very sore, and were led captives into a land that was not theirs, and the temple of their God was cast to the ground, and their cities were taken by the enemies. So we see anytime the Israelites sin against their God, the Lord allows another nation to come upon them and conquer them, right? And take their lands from them and throw their temples down to the ground. And we see now the Aztecs, the Mayans, the indigenous people are not only recognized by Columbus, but by many other scholars as being the lost tribes, the nation of Israel, right? The 10 lost tribes, they're being recognized by scholars as being this people. And it's being stated that the reason that these people had to go through the things they went through, and the reason that these people are in the predicament they're in, is because they sinned against their God. And that's what we see going on today. We're continuing to happen to this day. Who are the people being oppressed to this day, to above and beyond, man? Because we continue to sin against our God. We continue to not take heed to the things that to our laws and commandments that the Lord gave us, man. All right, let me get the. I think there was one more little article over here. Let me see. Guys, all right, I'm gonna pull this up real quick. Right, this is. So this is saying that the Hebrew Kabbalah priests assisted in the designing of Mexico's Teotihuacan. Somebody mic was tripping right now. Oh, I think that was Khalil. Okay, come on, let me get back to it. Right, so this is an article. I ended up printing it up. What this was from? All right, let's see. I'll put the info in the chat later. I forgot where I got this article from, but I had to download it. Right, but it's basically saying that the Hebrew Kabbalah priests, right, the design of the Teotihuacan came from the Hebrew Kabbalah priests. Right, it says, as a result of this research pointing to Hebrew messianic imagery, a study of the measurements of the unearthed city of Teotihuacan of ancient Mexico was made using Hebrew and Greek gematria with original Mayan Hunab measurements. The following amazing results illustrate verifiable Hebrew words related to the Kabbalah word tree produced by the street and building measurements of Teotihuacan, right? So we see, let me get this out the way. So you can see, right, how oh man, I lost the other thing I had too. The other article I had up. So not only was it used, hey, your mic is muted, King. Go ahead. Nah, you muted, Gabor. Say something.
My bad. I'm gonna come back on this one. So as you can see, like the brother going into, man, that TOT Kalan, right? But this nigga Mexican, so he could say it right. But this place, man, this is one of the most extravagant places that was ever built in history, right? In recorded history, right? So what the brother is going into, man, is really key history, right? And not his story, but our story, man, that shows that the Israelites, the Mexicans, are the true Israelites of the Bible that the Most High is talking about, right? I just wanted to say that. Go ahead, King. My bad. Salah.
No, you good, right? So not only do we see it in the construction of this city, right, this great city in Mexico, but you can also look at the Proto-Aztec and the Proto-Mayan languages, right? And there's a plethora of words that are the exact same word in the Hebrew with the exact same meaning, right? Over 200 words that are the exact same thing and the exact same from the Proto-Mayan, the Proto-Aztec to the Hebrew, and they mean the same thing, right? There might be a slight difference, one letter difference in each of the words, right? But overall, there's over 200 words that line up. And if you line these words up with the Paleo Hebrew, you're gonna have even more, man. It's gonna be even more words that line because the language derives from the Hebrew. But all these Mexicans nowadays, oh well, if you don't speak Spanish, you're not Mexican. Spanish ain't even your damn language of the indigenous Mexicans, man. Spanish is not your language. That's the language of your oppressor, the same people who came and conquered your people and forced their language upon you and forced their culture and ways upon you.
Khan, I wanna make a when you're done with that little segment, I'll let you finish your
Go ahead,
before
King.
you yield.
Get in there.
I want to bring out like a little 10-minute, probably 5. I'm at work right now, so bear with me. Or I'm gonna need y'all help pulling some stuff up real quick.
Yeah, let me know. I'll grab it.
Yeah, like we're going into, man. If you guys are all tuning in, right? First and foremost, shalom to everybody in the chat, right? All praises to the Most High. Yeah, man. The Israelites, right? The Mexicans, so-called Mexicans, right? So-called Hispanics, so-called Latinos. The reason why we say so-called is because that's not your true biblical identity. That is not the name that the Most High put upon you, right? So I want to bring out a couple points because what we're doing on this live here is we're bringing out evidence sustaining the fact that the so-called Mexicans, Latinos, and Hispanics today have a biblical heritage going all the way back to Abraham, Isaac, and to Jacob, and to the 12 tribes of Yasharallah, man, 12 tribes of Israel, right? So pull up for me real quick on the screen, King. First Kings chapter 10 and verse number 20.
Huh.
You can hear my mic good? My mic's okay?
Yeah, you clear, right?
Okay.
Let me present my screen real fast.
You super duper clear, better than me. I don't know how. And you.
Con. First Kings chapter 10. Matter of fact, go to First Kings chapter 10, chapter 5 real quick first. Salakia. I'm gonna try to make this quick. Zoom in so I can see real fast.
Con.
First Kings 5. Let's start at verse 1.
Con. This is the First Kings chapter 5 and verse 1. And Hiram, king of Tyre, sent his servants unto Solomon, for he had heard that they had anointed him king in the room of his father. For Hiram was ever a lover of David.
Right. So Hiram, right? He was the king of Tyre at the time of Solomon, right? And Solomon was always known for having all the heathen nations under subjection, or mostly all, right? The majority of these heathen nations, these kingdoms, under his subjection, to the point where they're involved in bartering systems, giving offerings and goods and things alike unto Solomon, right? Read on.
Con. And Solomon sent Hiram, saying, Thou knowest how that David my father could not build a house unto the name of Yahawah his God for the wars which were about him on every side, until Yahawah put him under the soles of his feet.
Read on.
But now Yahawah my God have given me rest on every side, so that there is neither adversary nor evil occurring.
Right, just like I said, because King Solomon, he was living in a time period where they weren't really going to war with anybody. Everybody was in a peaceful state, right? Trading with them, doing deals with them, under his rulership. Read on.
And behold, I propose to build a house unto the name of Yahawah my God, as Yahawah spake unto David my father, saying, Thy son, whom I will set up upon thy throne in thy room, he shall build a house unto my name.
Read on.
Now therefore command thou that they hold me cedar trees out of Lebanon, and my servant hew, Salakia, that they hew me cedar trees out of Lebanon, and my servants shall be with thy servants. And unto thee will I give hire for thy servants, according to all that thou shalt appoint. For thou knowest that there is not among us any that can skill to hew timber like unto the Sidonians.
Right. So this is King Solomon telling Hiram, right, to give him things of material for the building of the house of the Most High, right? The King Solomon's temple. So therefore, he was using King Hiram, which is the king of Tyre at the time, to bring him goods and all of these things from all over the world, right? Because King Hiram was an expert in naval, right? Expert in naval and trekking across the seas to find things from other lands, right? For trading. So King Solomon was using that to his advantage to be able to get the finest of the finest to bring unto him so he can build the temple to the Most High Yahweh, right? So that's the position of King Hiram and the relationship between King Hiram of Tyre and King Solomon. So now go to 1 Kings chapter 10 and verse number 20.
Con.
I believe it's 20. I can't look it up right now because then I would have to leave my StreamYard to do
It
so.
says,
But
and 12 lions stood there on the one side, and on the other upon the 6 steps. There was not the
22.
like.
Go to 22. Lucky. Go to 22.
Verse 22. For the king had at sea a navy of Tarshish with the navy of Haram. Once in 3 years came the navy of Tarshish, bringing gold and silver, ivory, and apes and peacocks.
Right. So it says every 3 years, right? Now go to the cap if you can grab me second Ezra 13 and 42 real quick so he don't have to leave that screen, right? So King Hiram was bringing them ivory, gold, apes, peacocks right? Every 3 years, he would bring it back to King Solomon, right? So where did he get all of that stuff from? Where did Hiram, king of Tyre, with his naval ships, get such valuable items, such as apes and peacocks, right? That would have to be the Americas, right? Go ahead.
You muted, King.
Yeah, you're on mute.
Khan, this is the book of Second Ezra, chapter 13 and verse number 42. I believe you want whenever mankind
The
dwelt.
the year and a half part.
Khan, this is the book of
The Euphrates.
Second Matthew, chapter 13 and verse number 45. For through that country there was a great way to go, namely of a year and a half, and the same region is called Arshareth.
Right. So of course I'm gonna let Nathania touch on the Arswith part. That's not what I want to touch on, but the year and a half part is what I want to touch on. Right. It takes a year and a half to get from the Euphrates to the Americas. Right. So therefore, what's a year and a half plus a year and a half? That's 3 years. Right. A year and 6 months plus another year and 6 months would be 3 years. So that 3 years that Hiram was going and getting things from to trade with Solomon took 3 years, right? A year and a half over there, and then a year and a half back would make that 3 years. So this place, right, America, had all kinds of valuable resources that was being traded to King Solomon by King Hiram of Tyre, right, with the naval ships of Tarshish. Right, and of course, we all know King Solomon himself had the naval ships under his possession. Right, so that's what the year and a half is, and also going into what First Kings 10 and 22, peacocks. Peacocks are found in America. See that? Read that part real quick, King.
It was
found in America. Yeah, no, on the screen.
Oh, so lucky. I got Second Ezra's on the screen.
Nah, I told Gabawar to bring up that on his book.
You want First Kings still?
Yeah, 10 and 22 on keep that on the screen.
For the king had at sea a navy of Tarshish with the navy of Hiram. Once in 3 years came the navy of Tarshish, bringing gold and silver, ivory and apes and peacocks.
And peacocks, right? Peacocks are found in America. So he was trading that back and forth 3 years time, right, to get to this place and go back to the land of Israel, right, to trade with Solomon. So it'll take a year and a half to get there, just like it took the 10 tribes to a year and a half to come over here and stay here, right? But then a year and a half to get back, which would make a total sum of 3 years, right? So now I want to bring up go pull up on Wikipedia or your Google search, type in Juan Crow.
Juan Crow?
Yeah, Juan. Yeah, Juan Crow. Like Jim Crow, but Juan.
Juan.
You okay?
Yeah, Juan.
So yeah, Juan Crow.
Right. So I want to pull that up. You read the article, and then just parallel that with the curses of Deuteronomy 28. I'm gonna let you brothers have the floor on that one after you read the article.
You want right here? Look at it real quick first.
Go up. Yeah, right there.
Since you ate her. You don't want to give her apple juice?
Go ahead, read that.
Yeah, this says Juan Crow is political terminology that was coined by journalist Roberto Lovato. It first gained popularity when he used it in an article for The Nation magazine in 2008. Call it Juan Crow, the matrix of laws, social customs, economic institutions, and symbolic systems, enabling the physical and psychic isolation needed to control and exploit undocumented immigrants.
Right.
Lovato
Go.
utilized the
Okay, I thought you were finished. Go ahead.
Lovato
Salakia.
utilized the term.
That's Salakia. That's the exact same thing that they did with the Willie Lynch letter, right? The exact same thing that's going on right here in Juan Crow, right? Is the exact same thing that went on with Willie Lynch, right? So what was being taught in the Americas is the same thing that was being taught in this region.
Well. Hold on. Finish that off real quick.
Lovato utilized the term to criticize immigration enforcement laws by analogizing them to Jim Crow laws, and has since become popular among immigration activists. Right?
All right,
It
now
says,
go back out real quick. Go back out to your search bar and just type in what is Juan Crow. There's a specific point. That brings it out, definitely, but there's a specific point. Don't click in the Wikipedia link. Just see what the beginning says right there. What does that say?
it says the matrix of laws, social customs, economic institutions, and symbolic systems enabling the physical and psychic isolation.
Okay, hold on. Can I share my screen real fast? Can I do that?
I got this one right here too. This one's by Bridgewater State University. It says the term Juan Crow emphasizes the similarities between the systematic discrimination of Mexican Americans and African Americans during Jim Crow.
Right. So that's basically what it's going into. Right? Is yes, because what I have pulled up real quick. One second, give me one quick.
Go ahead. Stop sharing mine.
Khan, bring it up.
I hate texting on my phone. I text so much better on the computer. Okay, I'm done.
This article here where it says that they experienced over 457 lynchings right during the Juan Crow era. Like Captain Gabawar was bringing out, it's the same thing as the Jim Crow laws, but applied specifically to Mexican, so-called Mexican people, right? And from there, you guys can parallel that with the curses of Deuteronomy, you know, to make it that comparison to show also as evidence that they are in fact indeed the children of Israel, the 10 lost tribes. And I yield.
That was perfect. I wish you could have brought it up on your phone, but I know how difficult that is.
I've been trying at home during this live.
Yeah, I've been trying to figure that out, man. I was happy. I was actually happy. Netanyahu, man. I was happy that he went live. That gives us something that we could do together. Tomorrow I'm gonna go live again, so you know we can have a little bit. But yeah, let's get into it, man. Because what the brother just brought out is mighty through the spirit. Because we always go through Willie Lynch, right? And the way that we get the Jim Crow is the same way that we get Willie Lynch.
Hey man, and it all go back. It all hit home, man. Right? It all goes back to Deuteronomy 28. It all goes back, hit back to the classics, man. It all goes back to the foundation of how we find out who we are as a people, man. Let me share this real quick. You know, bear with us. You know, we got a few more things we're gonna go through, and then we're gonna call it a night, man. All right, Deuteronomy 28. Right. They called this the consequences of disobedience. Right? Deuteronomy 28:15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. Right? So, as we say, man, nobody is keeping the laws of God. Nobody is doing what the Lord has commanded of his people to do. So if nobody is doing these things, then these curses have to fall upon this people group to this day. Right? They're not just going to go away. Right? He said the curses in verse, what is it? I believe it's like 34, where he says these curses will be upon you for a sign. 37. Come
here.
That wasn't what I wanted, but that's a good one too, though. Right? But he says if we disobey him, that these curses will be upon us. Right? He says that all these curses will come upon us and overtake us. So and it doesn't mean that they will all happen at one time to every single one of us, but you're going to see these curses falling upon a certain people group throughout our communities. Right? And verse 37 says, and thou shalt become an astonishment and a proverb and a byword among all nations, whether the Lord shall lead thee. Right? And so that's why you can go anywhere in the world and there's a name that they call you, right? Just like that brother was saying earlier. Oh no, what he said? He said, it's not Latinos, it's Hispanic. Hispanic is a byword. Latino is a byword. Mexican is a byword. These are labels and terms that were placed upon us by another people group, right? You allowed yourself to be named by somebody else. Rather than going by what God named you, you allowed another human being to come over here, conquer you, and say, this is what you're going to be called from now on. And then you just went right along with it and started calling yourself that. You allowed them to fearmonger you out of who you truly are. Right? These are bywords. And they says a proverb, right? A slick saying. They're going to have something slick to say about you. Right? They gonna have something, whether it's all Mexicans is hard workers, man, or they Mexicans beaner is another byword, man. Right? Oh, all Mexicans, hey man, you Mexicans, all they do is they sleep on their breaks, man. They like to drink and sleep on their breaks. Hey man, Mexicans, hey, that you get them house, they'll get that thing done in a day. Hey man, Mexicans that work for nothing. You can pay them pennies on the dollar and they gonna get it done. Right? They got slick sayings about us. Right? Even like what's the name? Trump, man, talking about build the wall because the only thing that's coming across the border is gang members and rapists. Mm-hmm. Right? Hey, these is derogatory terms and sayings that they place upon us. But that's a curse, right? The Lord said that was gonna happen. It didn't just happen just because. Right? Salakia.
It's all good. Go to Leviticus chapter 26 and verse number 33.
All right, Salakia. Let me grab one more out of this, and then I'm gonna go to Leviticus. Right, it's 46, 36, right? So it says Deuteronomy 28:46, and they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever. Right? Forever is the key word here. So he says these curses are going to be on your seed, right? What's your seed? Your children forever, not for a time period, not because Yahawashi, who the world calls Jesus Christ, came, not because now you're in a new covenant. These curses will constantly be on you forever, right? Regardless of what you think, what you think has taken place or what happened, and you think it's something canceled, something out. No, the Lord said these curses are going to be upon this people group for the rest of their lives if they want to disobey me. And they're going to be on us for a sign and for a wonder. right? To let us know who we are, right? A sign is to show you something. It's to show us who we are, and for a wonder, because we're gonna wonder on these things. We're gonna contemplate these things. Man, what do we have to do to get out of the situation we're in as a people group? Right? But all these curses in Deuteronomy, they all line up with one people group, man. Oh, slug. I know this one. What you want to go to? You said Leviticus?
Leviticus chapter 26 and verse number 14. But this is where we get the second law from. The first law comes from Leviticus and Exodus, and then we get Deuteronomy, right, through Leviticus, Exodus, and Numbers. So let's get why he told us these curses was going to come on us, right, in the first place, and what was going to happen. Go ahead, verse 14.
This Leviticus 26 and 14. But if ye will not hearken unto me, and will not do all these commandments, and if ye shall despise my statutes, or if your soul abhor my judgments, so that ye will not do all my commandments, but that ye break my covenant, I will also do this unto you. I will even appoint over you terror, consumption, and the burning og that shall consume thy eyes, and the sorrow of heart, and ye shall sow your seed in vain, for your enemies shall eat it.
So he tells us off the rip, right, in Leviticus, that these things are gonna happen, right? When it says, I will also do this unto you, I will even appoint unto you terror, consumption, and the burning og, right? Look up that burning og. But it tells us terror, right? What is that? The thought that your life is not gonna you're not gonna make it throughout the day. That's the sign of terror, right? Then you have consumption, right? That somebody else is gonna consume all your blessings, man. All your gratitude is gonna be consumed by another nation, right? Why? Because you did not keep the statutes, the commandments, and the judgments of the Most High God, Yahawah, right? Why? Yahawashi. Go ahead.
Burning og, this goes into the word fever or a disease.
So you're gonna get all types of diseases, right? When we read up in Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse number, I believe it's around 60 something, it tells us that we're gonna get diseases that nobody ain't never heard of, right? Why? Because you didn't listen to the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High God. So the reason why we're going through everything, the reason why we went into the Assyrian captivity, the reason why we went into the Babylonian captivity, the reason why we went into the Arab captivity, which is the Silk Road trade, slave trade, right? The reason why we had the big build up the Great Wall of China, right, is because we didn't follow the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High God, Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi. Right? So we have to make sure that we come back to following this thing. Go ahead.
It says, and I will set my face against you, and ye shall be slain before your enemies. They that hate you shall reign over you, and ye shall flee when none pursueth you. Man.
It says, and you gonna run when no man pursue you, man. That's the same thing that David brought out. Why does David bring out this? Because David is a prophet as well, and he saw our destruction. He saw how we living right now. He saw that we living in poverty. He saw that we don't think of ourselves to be kings and prophets and think of ourselves to be of some sort of use. We think of ourselves to be of nothing, right? David saw that just as well as Moses saw that, man. You feel what I'm saying? And when you drop down even lower, bro, this chapter, everybody should read this chapter and link this chapter up with Deuteronomy 28, because Deuteronomy just means second law. So where they get the second law from is from the first law, man, Leviticus, right? So this is how we know that the Mexicans are the children of Israel, because they're going through these same damn things that we went through, right? Coming to the Americas, they did the same thing in America, going into Spain, Portugal, Belize, and every other country that they led us away captives in after they came and conquered us over here in the Americas. But go ahead, King.
I just want to touch on this real quick. It says, "They that hate you shall reign over you." You think when the conquistador came over here, they were showing love? No, man. Right? They came over here and they brought diseases. They came over here, they was wiping out entire villages and raping the women. You know, they was doing all sorts of abomination, right? Because they hated us. And the Lord allowed them to reign over us. Right? He said the same people that hate you, they gonna reign over you, man. Right? They're gonna use you and abuse you. They're gonna smile in your face, but that's only to overcome you in the end. Right? That's why when they came here, they calling us savages and animals. Right? They said these indigenous people are savages and animals and uncivilized. Hey, that's not love. That's them people hated us, and they still hate you to this day, man. Right? They gonna put on a smile, all this in your face, but really behind your back, they talking talking all types of mess behind your back, man. Right? When nobody's around, they say all sorts of wickedness and evil.
That's right. Hey, check this out. What you're saying, right? I want brothers, man, Hebrew Israelites that's really in the faith, man. You got to keep this in your arsenal. Go down to verse number 24. Because we thought right through precepts that Esau went against how much he was supposed to afflict us, right? Because that's what Yahweh said. He said, you did too much, right? Yahweh said that Esau did too much, right? But Yahweh made Esau do too much. And this is how we can prove that. Go ahead.
Says verse 24. Then I will also walk contrary unto you and will punish you yet 7 times for your sins. Read on. And I will bring a sword upon you that shall avenge the quarrel of my covenant. And when ye are gathered together within your cities, I will send the pestilence among you, and ye shall be delivered into the hand of the enemy.
This is exactly what happened to us in this captivity, right? He sent our sword upon us, and we was delivered, right, unto our enemies. How? Through slavery, man. From 1619 and from 1419 all the way to 1619. This prophecy have came to pass. It says, I'm a deliver unto you the quarrel of my covenant, the way that I'm against you from you breaking my covenant, right? That shall avenge the quarrel of my covenant. And when ye are gathered together within your cities, what cities? The city of the north, right? The country of the north, America, right? When you're in this city, I will send the pestilence among you. What was that pestilence? Those ratchet ass Edomites that wasn't worth a damn, right? Those people, he sent them among us, and ye shall be delivered unto the hand of the enemy, right? It was no way for us to escape out of the hand of these white folks that we so much stronger than. And when I have broken the staff of your bread, when I broke your come up, right? When I broke all the faith that you have, all the belief that you have within me, that you was gonna make it no matter what, because you're Yasharallah and I am Yahawah, right? When I break that up off of you, it says 10 women shall bake your bread in one oven. Right, so 10 nations is gonna be devouring you and eating up off of all your income, all your increase, and they shall deliver you your bread again by weight, and they're gonna what they profited off of you, they gonna give to you like how we used to sell dope. I'm gonna give you a 0.5 and tell you that that's a gram, and you gotta take it or you gotta go somewhere else. This is how they gonna deal with us, right? And ye shall eat and be not satisfied. Why? They only gonna give you enough to keep you alive, man. This happened to the Black, Hispanics, Native American, Indians in slavery in America and all the way around the world, man. You are the Israelites that the Bible speaks of, man. There's no way out it, no way around about it. You are the people, man.
Mm-hmm.
Are you
right? And it goes even after slavery, right? You can go all the way back to the 60s, right, where these things were still taking place, man. If you go back to one of our lives, it's called "United We Stand, Divided We Fall." We go into how they use redlining, right, in the Jim Crow laws and the way they would tear down communities and things like that. Whenever we would try to build up or come together, man, they want to destroy it. Because why? Again, the people that hate us are going to be the same ones oppressing us. They don't want to see us come together as a people, man. They don't want to see us come back into our glory. They don't want to see us to be successful out here, man. They want to keep us obedient and submissive to their system, right? But that I yield, man. Right, but like my brother was saying, man, I hope you brothers that's tuned in and all the brothers that will tune in can see emphatically, without a doubt, that the Mexicans are of the 12 tribes of Israel, of the tribe of Issachar. Right, we didn't go too in depth on the Genesis breakdown for Issachar, but I mean through all the information we've brought out, you should be able to see that the Mexicans are without a doubt the Israelites. Right. I think I have one more book. Let me see. I'll get this last article real quick. It's what was his name? I forgot his name. Hold on. See if I can find it real quick. Man, I had the article too. Oh, I think this the article. Let me see. Oh no, this is the Hebrew Aztec languages. That was not it. You know what I'm talking about? Man, what was his name?
I see a picture for you. No, I don't see a picture. Nah, bro. See picture. What? All right, but I thought you were, bro. What happened, bro?
This is going into the that I brought out earlier. There's another brother.
Oh, why is the order? Wait, why did
Durant's no support. Oh, that's what it is. It was Balthazar de Medina, right? It says Balthazar de Medina in his Crónica de la Santa Provincia de San Diego de Mexico in 1682, right? So this is a book y'all brothers can download a PDF version of it, right? Again, like I said, it's Balthazar de Medina. It's called the Crónica de la Santa Provincia de San Diego de Mexico of 1682, right? That's what the book is called. And it says, he says the Mexicans are of the lost tribes of the tribe of Issachar, right? He said we had a special ancestor named Issachar. Let me see. He says, he says the Mexicans are originally of the 10 tribes captured by Salmanazar and of the family of Issachar, whom the Indians recognize as their special ancestor. You can also see this in Origins of the American Indians, Europe Concepts 1492 to 1729 in page 88. Right, let me share this. But yeah, y'all, I gave y'all the sources. Y'all can go look at these sources. Right. like I said, I hope y'all got a lot of information from this. Oh, real quick, I want to show this to you. Let's look at some of the traditional, right, the fringes, man. Even look at the fringes, right? Sure. Look at the clothing that people was wearing during that time, man. All right, let me see.
And then you should know they wake up at 8 times.
All right, look at these ponchos, man. Even if you go to Mexico now, right, brothers is still wearing ponchos, man. Right, they're still selling ponchos in Mexico. And what do we see on the ponchos? Fringes, man. You see the fringes? Fringes.
No.
Fringes, right? Fringes all on the ponchos, right? You're gonna see fringes all throughout the archaeology and the depiction of the Aztecs and the Mayans and the Incas, and you're gonna see fringes on their garments. And that was what? That's another tradition and commandment from the Most High God that the children of Israel should have fringes on the borders of their garment. So that's another custom that we see these people keeping, along with the many others that we've already stated in the video. You got any last words before we close out?
Slocky, man. I'm dealing with a baby explosion, man. But nah, man. Just Shalom. Kwam Yashala, man. The water for everybody for tuning in. Really, really appreciate it. This was a beautiful lesson. You know, beautiful, edifying, man. Lord willing, right? Somebody learned something today, right? But with that, man, Shalom, man. I appreciate you for going live, King.
Khan, Shalom, King, love you. Yeah, Shalom to everybody viewing, man. Shalom to everybody about to tune in. Barakatah, you know, Yahawah Bashem, Yahawashi, Barakatah, Kahala, Yahawah Bashem, Hamalak Yahawashi. With that, we're going to close out for the night. If y'all got any questions, feel free to tap in. Y'all looking to join a body or looking to congregate, looking for brotherhood, send us an email at K.O.Y. If you're in the Dallas area, it's going to be KOYDallas@gmail.com. If you're in the IE, it's going to be, let me see, 1 second. I got y'all. If y'all in the IE, it's going to be K.O.Y. Israelites@gmail.com. Right. Y'all remember to like, share, comment, subscribe, all that. And if y'all got any questions, tap in. We'll reach out to y'all. With that, we love y'all. Right, like I said in the beginning, we do this not only for ourselves, but we do this to edify you. We do this because we love our people. We want our people to come back to who they are as a people group. And we want to see the condition of our people change. Right, we want to see the culture. We want to see everything change as a whole, so that way we can come back into the glory we're supposed to be, and we come back into the high status over this place and rulership over this place that we're supposed to be in, right? So this place can be peaceful once again, right? But with that, yeah, like I said, we're gonna shalom everybody. Love y'all, man.